John Steinbeck, covering the plot summary, characters, characterization, and literary analysis in depth. The Pearl by John Steinbeck. The Pearl is a novella written by American author John Steinbeck in 1947. Inspired by a Mexican folktale, the story is a parable about wealth and the dangers it can bring. Set in a poor fishing village in La Paz, Baja California, it follows a humble pearl diver named Kino, whose life changes when he discovers a magnificent pearl. However, what seems like a gift from heaven soon becomes a curse. Plot summary. Chapter 1, The Simple Life. The story begins in a small brush house in a seaside village. Kino, a poor but contented pearl diver, lives with his wife Juana and their infant son Coyotito. Their life is modest but peaceful. One morning, Coyotito is stung by a scorpion. Desperate to save him, Kino and Juana rush to the town's doctor. However, the doctor, a greedy and racist man, refuses to treat the child because Kino cannot pay. Kino's helplessness in the face of poverty is vividly illustrated. His desire to save Coyotito becomes a driving force behind the story. In the background, the first seeds of inequality, discrimination, and greed are planted. Chapter 2. Discovery of the Pearl. Kino takes his canoe and dives for pearls, hoping to find one valuable enough to pay for Coyotito's treatment. By sheer miracle, he discovers the Pearl of the World, a massive, luminous pearl unlike any seen before. It's so valuable that it causes awe and envy among all who see it. News of the pearl spreads rapidly. While Kino dreams of a better life, marrying Juana in church, new clothes, and an education for Coyotito, others begin to scheme on how to steal it. The pearl brings not only hope, but also danger. Chapter 3. The Corruption of Hope. The doctor suddenly shows interest in Coyotito, claiming he will treat him. Kino is suspicious, but allows it. That night, someone attempts to steal the pearl from their house. Kino fights off the intruder, but is shaken. The villagers become envious. Kino begins to suspect everyone. His once peaceful life is now filled with fear and mistrust. His vision of the future becomes an obsession, and the pearl becomes a symbol not just of wealth, but of power and pride. Chapter 4. The Pearl Dealers. Kino decides to sell the pearl. He goes to the town, where pearl buyers conspire to undervalue it. They offer him a meager sum, claiming the pearl is too large and abnormal. Furious, Kino refuses and declares he will go to the capital to sell it. Juana begs Kino to get rid of the pearl, sensing its evil, but Kino refuses. That night, he is attacked again. He begins to carry a knife and becomes more paranoid and aggressive. Chapter 5. Descent into Darkness. Juana tries to throw the pearl into the sea, but Kino stops her and strikes her in a fit of rage. Shortly after, Kino kills a man who attacks him. They realize they must flee the village. Their canoe is destroyed and their house is burned. With no escape, Kino, Juana, and Coyotito flee into the mountains, pursued by trackers. Chapter 6. The Tragic End. Hiding in the mountains, Kino and Juana try to outsmart the trackers. Kino kills 2 of them, but during the gunfire, a stray bullet kills Coyotito. Devastated, Kino and Juana return to the village in silence. Kino throws the pearl into the sea, finally realizing that it brought only sorrow. The story ends with the image of the pearl sinking into the ocean, symbolizing the loss of innocence, hope, and the futility of greed. Characters and characterization. Kino, role, protagonist. Characterization. Kino starts as a loving, hard-working man who seeks only a simple life for his family. His identity is deeply tied to tradition and nature. However, the discovery of the pearl transforms him. He becomes obsessed with the vision of a better future and is blinded by pride and hope. As the story progresses, Kino changes, from a gentle father to a man capable of murder, consumed by suspicion and rage. Steinbeck uses Kino to explore how poverty and hope for change can drive a man to the edge. Kino's tragedy lies in his belief that he can rise above the oppression around him without realizing that the system is rigged against him. Juana, role, Kino's wife and moral compass. Characterization. Juana is a stoic, wise, and spiritual woman. She serves as the emotional and moral anchor of the story. She quickly senses the evil surrounding the pearl and consistently advises Kino to discard it. Unlike Kino, she is intuitive and sees the true cost of ambition. Despite being struck by Kino, she remains loyal and supportive. Her quiet strength and resilience highlight the emotional depth and dignity of women in hardship. Coyotito. Role: Kino and Juana's infant son. Characterization: though he is an infant and doesn't speak, Coyotito represents hope and the future. Kino's dreams of sending him to school drive his decisions. Coyotito's tragic death is symbolic. It marks the end of Kino's illusions and the ultimate price of ambition. He is both a symbol of innocence and the victim of adult greed. The Doctor. Role: antagonist. Characterization: the Doctor is a symbol of colonial arrogance and racism. He refuses to treat Coyotito until he hears of the pearl. Steinbeck paints him as greedy, manipulative, and heartless. His character reflects the broader theme of oppression by institutions that devalue indigenous lives. He's also a representation of how wealth corrupts morality. The Pearl Buyers. Role: minor antagonists. Characterization: the Pearl Buyers act as a corrupt cartel, pretending to compete while colluding to cheat poor villagers. They reflect the exploitation built into capitalist systems. Their dismissiveness of Kino's pearl symbolizes how wealth is manipulated by the powerful. The Trackers. Role: nameless villains. These anonymous hunters symbolize faceless oppression. They relentlessly pursue Kino and Juana, driven by greed. They represent the external dangers that confront those who defy societal norms. Literary analysis themes. 1. Greed and corruption. The central theme of the pearl is the corrupting power of greed. The pearl, once seen as a symbol of hope, becomes an object of desire that incites violence and evil. Steinbeck shows how material wealth can destroy individuals and communities. 2. Colonialism and oppression. The story is set in a post-colonial Mexican society where indigenous people are marginalized. The Doctor's disdain for Kino, the manipulation by pearl buyers, and the systems of power reflect the continued exploitation and dehumanization of the poor. 3. The illusion of the American dream. Kino dreams of transforming his life through wealth. His aspirations echo the American dream. But Steinbeck critiques it, showing how the dream is often unattainable for the oppressed and how it can lead to disillusionment. 4. Fate versus free will. Kino believes he can control his destiny by selling the pearl, yet fate plays a cruel hand. The irony is that his attempts to change his life only lead to tragedy. The story questions whether individuals can truly escape societal constraints. 5. Nature and humanity. Steinbeck draws frequent parallels between nature and human behavior. Animals like ants, scorpions, and sea creatures are described in detail, often mirroring the actions or emotions of humans. This motif reflects the natural instincts that drive Kino: survival, protection, and territoriality. Symbols. The pearl, initially a symbol of hope, it quickly becomes a symbol of greed, evil, and destruction. Reflects how objects have no intrinsic value. Humans project meaning onto them. The transformation of the pearl mirrors Kino's moral decline. The scorpion represents danger and death, foreshadowing the tragic events to come. Symbolizes the unpredictability and cruelty of nature. The canoe, an heirloom and symbol of livelihood, tradition, and heritage. Its destruction symbolizes the breakdown of family and culture. Embodiment of innocence and future dreams. His death is symbolic of the loss of hope and purity. Narrative style and structure. Steinbeck uses a third-person omniscient narrator, giving readers access to Kino's inner thoughts, as well as a broader, almost mythic perspective. The tone is lyrical and meditative, rich in allegory and symbolism. The novella is structured like a parable, simple in plot but profound in meaning. Steinbeck uses clear, direct language to evoke deeper moral questions. Each chapter advances the story while adding layers of thematic complexity. Imagery and language. Steinbeck employs vivid, natural imagery, evoking the sounds of the sea, the shimmer of the pearl, and the oppressive heat of the desert. The Song of the Family and Song of Evil are recurring auditory images that symbolize Kino's emotional state. His language blends the poetic with the folkloric, making the story timeless. Through simple yet powerful descriptions, Steinbeck paints a world where human emotion is intertwined with the environment. Tone and mood. The tone begins with tranquility and hope, but gradually turns tense, ominous, and tragic. The mood shifts from peace to paranoia, from dream to nightmare. This shift mirrors Kino's internal transformation and the consequences of desire unchecked by morality. Steinbeck's purpose and message. John Steinbeck wrote The Pearl as a cautionary tale. It critiques social inequality, colonialism, and the destructive nature of greed. Steinbeck doesn't condemn Kino for dreaming of a better life. Rather, he warns against allowing material ambition to override ethical values. Through this story, Steinbeck asks, what is the true cost of wealth? Can the oppressed ever find justice in a corrupt world? Is hope a blessing or a curse? Conclusion. The Pearl is more than a tale of a man who finds a valuable gem. It's a poignant parable about the dangers of ambition, the illusions of wealth, and the oppressive systems that trap the poor. Kino's journey from simplicity to tragedy reflects the universal human struggle between aspiration and contentment, desire and morality. John Steinbeck's novella remains relevant today, reminding readers that some treasures are best left buried and that the most valuable things in life cannot be bought.